Tomorrow on Home and Family, we welcome actress Missy Pyle from the movie Miles. And USA's Queen of the South actress Alicia Braga joins us.
You'll probably find yourself out at some barbecue this summer enjoying a side dish of cornbread. But have you ever thought about the magic? Yes, the magic and the science that goes into cornbread and cornbread making. Dan Kohler has thought about both of those and is here to perform the magic as he tells us the science.
I'll let you perform the magic. I'll do the science.
Oh, well, I can make it disappear easily.
Is that a fair division of tasks here?
Yep, okay. You guys have some in front of you, by the way.
Can we start eating?
Yes,
Please
sure.
do. You've got two varieties, and I think there's a major split across America about what kind of cornbread you like. In the north, and that's what you've got, the square one is the northern variety.
Okay.
In the north, cornbread tends to be light, it tends to be a little cakey, and it actually tends to be a little sweet. Now, in the south, and that's the wedge-shaped one you've got, in the south it tends to be made with more whole grains, and it's much more savory. Now, the difference really comes down to, do you put wheat flour and sugar in your batter or not? And the way you make that decision all comes down to the science of your cornmeal. I know.
There's science in everything.
I know.
Right?
I love
Science
science.
and cornmeal.
Yeah.
All right, take us through this. What do you say? So explain that.
So in the South, cornmeal used to be milled by stone. And that's what we've got here. We've got some white cornmeal and some yellow cornmeal that you also might see labeled as polenta. Now, both of these are stone ground, and you can tell because the grit is very large. And so what you're getting when you use stone ground meal, you're getting the whole grain. So you get all the fiber, you get all the minerals, and you actually get all of the fat and flavor from the grain as well. So it tends to be incredibly flavorful, and it doesn't really need anything else. Now, after the Industrial Revolution, things really changed in the way we milled our grains.
Okay.
And that's what you see in northern-style cornmeals over here. This one's a bit mixed, and over here is completely fine. We went from stone grinding to steel grinding mills. And those steel rollers moved so quickly, they heated up, and they actually completely pulverized the grain. They stripped it of the fiber and actually the fat and the flavor. So what you end up with is something much closer to this, which is very feathery and powdery, and it actually needs some wheat and it needs some sugar. That's why in the north they ended up adding those ingredients, because otherwise this would never bake up. It would be completely flat in the pan.
I don't know if it shows on camera, but there is a distinct difference between each.
You can really see, and actually, let's just put these two together side by side, because actually you can see the grit difference very distinctly right there.
And the taste is super different.
Oh,
So different.
They're so
The
different.
one from the south almost tastes like grits.
Yes, and that's exactly where
Tastes like grits.
That's exactly where it's coming from. And actually, traditionally in the South, you would have used this. You would have used this gritty white corn, which is what they would have made, stirred over the fire for a long time. They would have made grits from the same thing.
So good.
Would they have had any of this in Hawaii? Hawaii?
Mark.
Yeah. Mark.
The joke, so.
The girls went back to Hawaii, Mark.
Yeah.
They're on a plane.
I never get one.
You don't have it.
You get plenty of fun.
All right, show us how to get started
Tell 'em,
on
Adam.
this.
All right, so if you're gonna make the southern one, you want to start with some really good stone ground corn, and it could be white, it could be yellow, but make sure you're getting something that's got that whole grain in there. That's what I like, and I add some kosher salt. Baking powder and baking soda to leaven that, and we're just going to whisk the dry ingredients together. You just want this to be completely uniform before you move on.
I was going to do this, but Dan, he
Right.
enjoys this part of the.
I'm going to let you get. Why don't you get into the wet ingredients over there, Mark?
Sure,
So
yeah.
We've got 3 eggs whisked in there. Why don't you add this melted butter?
Nice, just a little bit of butter.
Yeah, well, come on.
A little bit of butter.
Come on.
Just a giant bowl of butter. Yeah, no, it's
And
fine.
then we're going to pour in that buttermilk, and why don't you whisk all of that together for me?
Okay.
We were just talking over here, the chef and Janelle, and I don't know how you guys feel down there about it, but we like sweet and savory cornbread together. I like jalapenos in it, but it's sweet. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, that is delicious.
So now, Mark, if you would do the honors, wet into dry, whisk those together for me.
Wait, wet into dry or dry into wet?
Wet into dry
Wet
this time.
okay,
I know you can do it. I'm really confident in you this time.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
Lovely.
Good job,
Wonderful, isn't it?
Well
There
done.
you go. Look at
Now,
Gorgeous.
thank you so very much, Marley.
mix this until it's completely uniform over here.
Okay.
Is there a fear of overworking this kind of thing?
You know, actually, I just like to get it together just until it's barely mixed. That's a great question.
Because otherwise it'll get too dense. Huh?
Yep. And that's what we've got right here. And I have this pan already heated on top of the stove. We're going to add a little bit of extra butter right there.
This is
right
the south one? Are you
This is
you're
the
making the
southern.
south one? Okay.
Yep.
Oh, I take your spatula.
You did.
Sorry,
You
that
did.
was my bad.
It's okay.
Why do you heat your cast iron skillet before you make it?
Well,
Because what I want to do is get this.
Dan Teller.
I I want to get this butter in there so that I can form a nice crust on the cornbread before it goes inside. And that sizzle right around the edge is what we're looking for.
Yeah.
That's going to be absolutely delicious. This bakes, and it bakes at 375 for about 45
Here,
minutes.
Dan, here, let me jump in there.
Please do, please
Oh
do.
my God.
Mark, I'm set over here. We're going to just put this in the pan in the oven. 375 for about 45 minutes.
Which is better for soaking up pot liquor?
For me, it's a no-brainer. We go with the salad.
That's amazing.
That looks delicious.
Do you want to try some of this?
And this is the best part because as the man in the kitchen, I get to sample.
Right.
And there's.
Here you go. Just
Nothing.
stand by. Stand by. He's cutting the slice.
Mark, I got you covered.
Oh, wait. No, that's not that. You'll lose a tooth.
Okay. All right.
There you
Can I
go.
try something?
Good sir. I'm not going to leave you hanging.
Yeah, just put it on the counter. That's fine. That's
It's my kitchen. It's clean, okay? We know what goes on here.
perfect. Here we
Fine.
go.
Some of this butter, though.
so
Butter
good.
is. Need butter.
Is there butter? Is there butter?
Yes, butter.
Dip in the butter.
Oh, guys.
Butter's incredible.
Fantastic.
Dip in their butter, not mine.
Fantastic. Is this Hawaiian butter? Hawaiian.
No, it's not even Hawaiian rolls.
He's going to be doing this.
Thank you, sir.
Never gonna
He's never going to stop, Janelle. You see what you started with the Hawaii. We unfortunately have to say goodbye to Janelle now.
Bye.
Thank you so much. She's going back to join the
Back to Hawaii. Hawaii. She's going back to Hawaii.
Yeah, still.
Not a thing.
I don't know how you
Keep
do
trying it.
I'll dance for you
got
if you
power.
want.
No.
It's not gonna be
No, don't, Adam.
You
I
guys
wanna
stick
see
around
that.
up next, floral design expert Amy Morella.
Up next, I'm going to show you some of the latest wedding flower trends.